If a liberal shoots a gun, here are some things that they do I want to share with you. Liberals, they're rigidly flexible. If they shoot first, when they're out target shooting, wherever they hit, they say, of course, that was the target. Number two, there's a sign that a liberal made up recently that pretty much covers up how they are. It goes on like this. Warning, baiting deer is illegal. This corn pile is intended for squirrels, chipmunks, and other such animals. Any deer found eating this corn will be shot. Hey, just saying. I have a new sign that I have up in my home, and it says this door is locked for your protection, not mine. And of course, it has a picture of my favorite gun. Old commie, the Democrats, 17 trillion, that'll be with a T, in debt. I don't know that there's much else to say about that. That's just a big sigh, and a whole bunch of cuss words got to come to mind also right after the sigh, right or left. Researchers now in Australia have found evidence that left-pawed dogs may be more aggressive than right-pawed dogs. I know you've been waiting a long time to get this kind of information. Now you're enlightened, and I'm here to do it. It's a tricky task, to go out and do all of this study stuff with dogs. But finally, and I think there probably are liberals that have done the studies, finally they have said left-pawed dogs are much smarter than dogs who use a right paw more often than the left paw. That's a great big duh, to me at least. Talking about dogs, here's a sad dog story. Indians in Canada on reservations are not subject to the SPCA surveillance or care, and it's estimated that 90% of all Indian dogs are abused by starvation and or cruelty. Rescue workers illegally attend reservations to pick up dogs to save them from abuse. I was attacked by one time, actually, because it was a dog that had been beaten with a rifle stock, obviously, because I saw the dog. A friend of mine had the dog in our field, and this lady always wanted to shoot a pellet gun. And so I took a long gun, pellet gun, over to where she was. The dog attacked me, and we found out later the dog had been abused for many years on an Indian reservation by way of being pounded with a gun. You know what to do now? Do you scrap the Indian reservation deal? So the SPCA is allowed to go in and pick up the thousands and thousands of dogs that need to be cared for. But then you got picketers and you got people blocking roads, and all the activists say, hey, leave us alone. But don't really leave us alone. Give us money. This is a terrible thing. I mean, the people thing, we all get that and we can talk about it, but this is animals. White police should be able to go in and pick up dog abusers, but they're not allowed to. I guess Indians can beat dogs up. I mean, these are stats. These aren't just made up. This is real stuff. I mean, go to an SPCA near you, and most rescue dogs have been picked up illegally from Indian reservations. There's a strong message there. Edmonton, Alberta, progressive conservative leadership candidate Jim Prentice says that he opposes decriminalization of marijuana, but the police should use discretion when deciding whether or not to lay charges. There needs to be some balance in terms of how the law is enforced, so he says. What does that mean? Does that mean if you're a criminal or a robber that you can go out and rob a 7-Eleven store and they'll be bounced, but just rob a bank and they won't be bounced? You go to jail for that? I mean, come on, is it a law or isn't it a law? Good grief. Canada's employment landscape changed dramatically here just a few weeks ago. A typical bureaucratic mess. They said, hey, you know what? We've got 200 new jobs. And they made an error, and it was actually 42,000 jobs a couple of days later. I mean, bad workers, bad bosses, bad leadership. I mean, who do you believe? I don't know. Certainly not the governments anymore. Progressive conservative, that's saying two things. Progressive is left, conservative is right. It's kind of like saying Virgin Hooker. It doesn't add up, does it? Y'all come back tomorrow. We're going to have more for you from the right. See ya.